On guys, this is going to be my first attempt at taking on Mr. Impossible's suborder 124. I believe this is needed in order to complete the 5-star rating for him. So I'm going to be doing this on brutal difficulty. You have a time limit of 45 minutes, and you cannot save during the mission. Okay, so I'm going to be going through the camps, picking up the items needed. The camps have already been cleared out, and I'm going to be going along my route that I chose and completing the mission to show you how easy it can be. Afterwards, I'm going to be going quickly go through the preparation I took in order to complete this mission, the route I decided to choose, what you should possibly do to make your life as easy as possible with this. And I'm going to try and go through it as quick as possible. Okay, so if you do not want to watch the actual delivery process, in the description I will post a timestamp. You could just fast forward to that and just go through the steps, and I will try to keep it as concise as possible because I know sometimes people don't want to watch a 50-minute step-by-step video on how to get something done. So if this makes your life easier, by all means, go for it. But there's plenty of other videos out there that offer other solutions. So use whatever you can to get the job done. So when I start the mission and do the delivery route, I am going to not do any commentary, but I will pick it up at the end and explain what like my thought process behind everything that I did. The camps have already been cleared out. I have not watched anyone's videos on how to complete this. The only thing I looked up was an article on the whereabouts of the items, where they are in the camp, so I'm not spending a ton of time trying to find them. Okay, but yeah, just let's get into it, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video.
Commencing route creation. Delivery route finalized. Commencing route creation. Delivery route finalized. finalized. Commencing route creation. Delivery route finalized. Commencing route creation. Delivery route finalized.
Order accepted. Thank you. Tolerably tolerable. stretch my legs.
That was too close.
Just like that, Sam.
you actually recovered all of our shit.
He did! You're an absolute legend, mate! Alright, let's inspect this cargo. This cargo is fucking flawless, mate. Oh, you're a god! Shit, Sam! You are the best of the best!
We seriously didn't think you'd be able to complete our latest and greatest challenge, bro.
Way to prove us totally wrong. You're the real Mr. Impossible!
And you bloody earned this. We're increasing your material allocation a little bit more. Figured you could...
Now displaying your current porter grade.
For the man who's conquered the greatest of our challenges,
We've got a sweet present we know you're gonna love.
Congrats,
bruh.
bruh.
You earned it.
we've hooked you up with data for the ultimate portable chiral constructor.
With this baby, you'll be able to fabricate structures that come pre-upgraded.
You can plop down little bridges and safe houses fully formed just like that.
We've also given you an extra special gift just to mark this occasion.
And don't worry, bro, this sculpture is totally safe to be around. Not dangerous at all.
Yeah, you can use it to spruce up your room or wherever.
For real, though, you are one hell of a guy, Sammy.
If you ever need a place to crash, our shelter is your home away from home.
Yeah, just tell us if you want to stay the night.
I swear, we haven't had this much fun in forever.
We're going to post you a bunch more orders real soon.
So if you need something to get your blood pumping, check them out and take them on. You got 2 new fans for life, Sammy.
Okay, so that is the final suborder for Mr. Impossible. Time of 27:42, I believe it was, and with that I've maxed out his connectivity level and got the final trophy for maxing out everybody and the platinum. So how did I do this, or how did I prepare this? Okay, so I did some testing out first. When I was going to neutralize all enemy camps prior to the challenge. Okay, so what I did as a test, I went to the government base, the enemy camp near the government base, and I did a test to see how long the enemies would stay, I guess, down for. And also I tried to time how long a day-night cycle lasted. So I couldn't find anything online in regards to the day-night cycle for the length of time for each day and night cycle in the game. So what I did was I neutralized this base over here first, and I timed it at the start of a new day. I rested in the Magellan first, and I timed how long a day cycle lasted, which it seems, maybe give or take a minute or so, seems to be about 25 minutes, and then a night cycle would be about 20 minutes. So a full day is about 45 minutes. So I just waited outside the camp to see if the enemies would respawn, and they did not. So they're still down over there. So I didn't want to wait for another day or two, just spending another hour and a half or whatever it may be, just seeing if they would eventually respawn. So what I did was I rested in the Magellan, and the enemies respawned after resting 3 times. So that was a full day and night cycle I waited, and then resting 3 times. So you figure that's an additional day and a half, which should give you about 2 hours while these enemies are still neutralized and down. At which point then they will respawn, and then you gotta deal with them again. So 45 minutes is more than enough time. So what I did was this. So I neutralized every camp prior to starting the mission. Obviously, you can do it during the mission, or you can use the Magellan fast travel to get it done easier. If you want to do that, if you want to challenge yourself, then you could do it this way, I guess, as well. But what I did was, instead of traveling with the Magellan into each specific location, I used beach jumps. So I set up, if there was no transponder in the area, I set up my own. So in this case, there was one set up here right on the border. Normally, you're not allowed to set up a transponder within the yellow circle of a base, so you generally have to put it slightly without. So what I did was I set up transponders in an area where I pretty much had tactical advantage, and that it was also easy to get back and forth to. Because after you're neutralizing a base, you don't want to spend a ton of time climbing back to your transponder. So what I did was I set up transponders if there wasn't any already. So in this case, in this one over here, I set one up over here. And in this one over here, I used one that was already set up, which is right there. And the other ones I set up in other locations. So what I did was I set them up, and there's a storage option in the transponder where you can leave equipment. Obviously, you cannot take equipment with you when you're jumping from location to location outside of what's in your utility pouch for blood, or your grenade pouch, or what's on your tool rack. Anything in your backpack will not come with you if you do a jump. So what I did was, ahead of time, I set up in each facility storage within the transponder several weapons and grenades, so I could just fast travel to each transponder, take the weapons out of it, neutralize the base, then jump to the next transponder and neutralize the next base. So I wound up starting at this base over here, because this one's obviously the more difficult one out of the bases, mainly due to the snow. So I neutralized this one first, and then I went in order of which one I was going to hit after. So I hit that one, then I hit this one here in order of which I was traveling, then the one by the pizza chef over here, then this one here, then this one by the Northern Environmental Observatory, this one by Peter Gates over here at the Western Observatory, or close enough to it. Oops, my bad. It's this one over here, and then the final one at the government base. So I hit all those up, and as soon as I was done hitting all of these up, I set up my DHV at F7 North Distribution Center, the transponder here, and I had my vehicle ready to go, like right outside the transponder, so I could just jump in and just start making my rounds to pick up the items. So the equipment you're going to need outside of what's in the transponder private facility mailbox, or whatever you want to call it. This is the equipment I had on during the neutralizing of bases, I guess. So you're going to want either climbing power or gloves level 2. You're going to need a boost skeleton level 3. You might want to put in a Bolka skeleton in the transponder near the base by F7. Just due to the snow, it's kind of a pain in the ass to get around in if you're going in and out of the base, trying to neutralize the last remaining enemies. And what you're going to need also for APAS enhancements, the most important one is this one, okay? It's Super EM Plasma, which increases the AoE of electrical weapons, okay? You get this as a level 4 connectivity with BPAS, the BPAS shelter. And when you use stun grenades, it increases the area of effect. So when I was placing weapons in the transponder mailboxes, I put in, obviously, in each location, I put in 2 lightweight level 2 assault rifles, 1 grenade launcher, and a few of the stun grenades. The stun grenades are your friends because they can pretty much wipe out a few enemies at once if they're clustered together, and it makes your life a lot easier. Now for a backpack, I had the large grenade pouch. It's not really necessary. This isn't really necessary either. The stabilizer level 3 is very important because it makes you you can jump large distances or high distances, or fall from high distances, and you're not going to take much damage. I had the bell on in case I ran into a BT area, hoping to escape if it came down to it. And I also had the Junji Ito, I guess, gear on as well, which also makes it easier to escape from BTs in case it happened. Okay, so in addition to that, I will show you what my vehicle had on it. So it's not in there. Okay. So basically what I did was I used this vehicle, okay, but I removed all weapons, I removed the armor, and I only had 2 extra batteries. I did not have the, what is it, the chiral jump things that make you jump higher, I forget what they're called. And I had regular tires on it. I know it may be controversial, but I'll explain why I chose that. So I chose to have that vehicle, which I left at Mr. Impossible right now, but this vehicle, the more, I guess, equipment you have on it, like armor and guns and all that, it increases the weight. And testing it out with my normal, you know, pickup off-roader with all this stuff on it with studded tires, it took it took longer than the time it took now. I did some test runs, and it moves so slow with all this equipment and the tires on the highways. So when I was doing some tests with the vehicle, I first started with that other one with the studded tires, thinking, okay, well, I'm going to be going through the snowy area I needed to get through. You don't. You can take the studded tires off. It may be a little slower slightly, which I did some tests originally, and it's not that much slower, but once you hit the highways, you move so much quicker, and you make up that time more than if you were using the studded tires and cutting through this area, okay? But the only thing is, when you're using the vehicle without studded tires in the snowy areas, the one thing I can tell you is do not let off the gas. Keep the booster on and try to move as quickly as possible. If you stop on like a steep hill, like here for instance, it's going to be difficult to get going again, okay? The studded tires on a vehicle does not have that problem, but as long as you keep moving, then you shouldn't have a problem. Okay. Now, when I was choosing a route, okay, number one, also, you should have this on, okay, the drawbridge Cupid on. Now, when you do this challenge or this suborder I don't know if the game just doesn't spawn BTs or anything, but originally once I hit this camp, I was going up to the Eastern Environmental Observatory. Then I was cutting down here, down this way, and then hitting this bridge I made over here, okay? But a lot of times I was running into BTs in this area, and I kept getting caught with my vehicle, and sometimes even in this area as well, okay? So I don't know if this challenge just prevents BTs from spawning in certain areas, but because of hitting BTs in this area regularly, even with the drawbridge Cupid on, I decided to do a different route. Now, when I was hitting BTs in this area and getting caught, I was using the Gigas BT summons to basically just eliminate eliminate the catcher as quick as possible. And I was thinking, okay, well, eliminating the BTs in the area, it's going to prevent them from spawning for a while, but that wasn't the case. Because when I made some other passes through these areas, they spawned pretty quickly, even with the drawbridge Cupid on. Now, I don't know if it's because I used the summons and didn't defeat them the hard way that they respawned very quickly, but I decided to go a different route, and it seemed to be pretty quicker overall going the different route, which was once I hit this camp here, I wound up going this way up here. So up here,
Commencing route creation. Delivery route.
and then cutting down this little slope, and then going here for going over this little ridge, and then down the slope here. Okay, I added a battery generator there because I was running low on batteries in certain test runs. So once I hit down here, then I cut across over this way here to hit this bridge that I made just to save some more time instead of cutting all the way over here and then going around. Okay, if you do happen to run into BTs in this area, I've found that it was a little easier to avoid them if you just kind of hug the coastline here, and you shouldn't have a problem. The other thing is too is once you start hitting the road here, if you have the drawbridge Cupid off, generally the Ghost Mech motorcycles will spawn somewhere in this area. I don't know if that's still the case when taking this order, but I had it on, so it prevented that regardless. Okay, so once I hit this highway here, after grabbing the item here, then here, then here, and then I cut across. Instead of going all the way around, I saved some time by cutting through this way over here. I created a bridge to get across this a little bit easier. I was also running into BTs sometimes in this area, but in this case I didn't. So once I hit this area, then you go up, back to the highway, and then instead of going all the way around, I hit this little shortcut over here, cutting through to the bridge, back to the highway, then getting the second to last item over in this area, back to the highway, and then grabbing the last one over here, and then hitting the highway to the end. Okay, just a few things to note when you're planning this this route or order. Do some test runs. It doesn't hurt to just kind of get a feel for what you need to do. The other thing I did was, also I didn't mention this earlier, but when I was testing how long the enemies in the base were down for, once they respawned, I wound up eliminating them again, and I did about 10 different beach jumps in random locations to see if the enemies would respawn within that time. And during those 10 beach jumps, it didn't seem like the time of day in general changed much. If it did, it was very minimal. But the enemies did not respawn in here after doing about 10 different beach jumps. After that, I wound up doing a test run and when I finally passed by this area, the enemies were still down. So you have more than enough time if you're using the beach jump method, eliminating all the bases and then going to pick up the cargo after. Okay, so that's pretty much it in regards to my I guess my way of thinking for this, my preparation going into it. Beach jumps definitely helps you move around a little bit quicker. And the other thing is too is like you could probably make everything a lot easier if you had the highway upgraded to level 2, which makes everything faster. But for me, I found it was a little a little time consuming, and also you needed a ton of resources in order to do it. So I found it wasn't worth it on my end. So this is why I developed the beach jump method, and also using the pickup off-roader without the studded tires, because you move a lot faster on the road. Okay, you may struggle slightly, you may be a little slower on the mountains, but if you get this out of the way first, this area out of the way first, then the rest is smooth sailing for the most part. Okay, so that's pretty much it with this order. Good luck if you're attempting it. It wasn't too difficult, and at the end, 27 minutes 42 seconds. Okay, hope you enjoy, and if you have any comments, please leave them below. Anything I could have done differently or better, I'd like to hear. All right, thank you.